minutes, so I thought I'd come on and do a Q&A to help all of you. I was working with a group yesterday, one of my elite coaching groups, and I told them that if you want to change your life, you have to change. A lot of people, and I used to be one of them, so I could speak with great authority on this, they think just because they read books, binge YouTube, that their life is going to change, and that's not what happens. You have to really decide to change, and I want to change your life today, and I want you to change your life today, but it has to happen with power moves. Power moves is all about the type of actions you take. Take a look at this week. I want every one of you who are on this or watch the recording of this, really look at this week. That'll tell you who you really are. Are you hesitating? Are you taking awesome action? Are you taking action from your goal, from your future? I recorded a podcast today, and I talked about there's difference between actions. There's actions with certainty, and there's actions with your old programming. One will create massive results over time. One will create nothing. So I want you really to look at how important action is. When I was with my mentor, him and I used to always talk about this. And he would always tell me, I love how much action you take. But he said, one day we were talking, he said, action is the foundation of everything we do. So I don't want you any longer to be available for weak actions. I want you to sprint out of your comfort zone. And, I'm always talking about 18 years ago, 2 habits that I created that massively changed my life, that will massively change your life, is behaving before you're ready. You're never going to be ready for a thing until you do it. A lot of people want to change, but they're not changing. They're saying, I'm going to do this when this happens. That's never going to happen. I started doing it now. I'm forever programming my clients. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Because that's going to change your life. But the best part of action, you're going to stop being attached to the outcome. You're going to stop letting the outside control you, because when you get your body in motion, it creates momentum. So let's see if what your questions are so I can help you today.
Okay, great. So our first question, Arash, is how do you train your mind to see opportunity instead of problems?
Well, if you're looking for problems, you're going to find them. So if you're seeing problems right now, that's because all your mind is in a negative mental attitude. So it's pretty simple. Look for what you want. Every one of us can find a problem. Right now, you can find a problem in me. I can find a problem in you if I'm looking for it. I never look for problems. I'm only looking for what are my best thoughts that I could think about. That's always what do I want. What type of actions I take. The only thing we have to measure to see opportunities is to think from our future, think from our goal. Most people are not doing that. They're always thinking from their present. They're thinking from their past, so they keep recreating it. So what I would tell you is double down on your attitude and only look for what you want. Look for the good in everything. Give yourself a 30-day test. For 30 days, I'm just looking for the good in everything. You get cut off on the freeway, say, that was good. That was good. I saw it. When you train yourself to look for the good, that's all you're going to see. For me, all I'm looking at is how I can do something. And, I'm better at it now than I was 5 years ago. I'm constantly implementing ideas. And if you're following me, you see how many different offers I put together because I'm always implementing newer and newer ideas to help change people's lives. So you have to stop coming from problems. If you do, that's all you're going to keep attracting into your life.
Okay, so we have a question from Sam. How do you deal with the bully who wants to take your sovereignty for their gain?
I don't deal with bullies, so I don't give them any attention. Bullies are the most insecure, so I wouldn't give away any of your power to a bully. So you're part of the problem if you're giving your power away. So you got to focus on what you want. You're running your race. No one can take your power unless you give it to them. So stop giving away your power, or else you're going to constantly be a victim to your circumstances, and I don't want that for you.
Okay, so you're gonna like this question because you were talking about power moves. So how do I know if a move I'm making is is it bold or is it just reckless?
I don't really know. I'd have to know what the move is, but like for me, the only thing is reckless is being in your comfort zone. So you're going to win some of your moves, you're going to lose some of them. But you've lost before. But wouldn't you rather lose playing your life to win than not to lose? A lot of people will ask me, is this reckless? It's only reckless if you don't execute what you say you're going to execute. So I was working yesterday with my Quantum Leap coaching group. And somebody asked me, they said, I've stopped buying certain things because it was reckless. I said, well, why do you think it was reckless? He goes, because I never did it. I said, so you were reckless, not the opportunity. And I said, you are training yourself to play it safe, and that is a terrible way to train yourself. I encouraged the person, I said, I want you to train yourself to be relentless with your execution. Like I said before, and you guys got to burn this in your mind. Until you work the ideas are not going to work. I'm forever coaching people, and I have people who do exactly what I tell them. Their results absolutely crush it. Like I have a company I'm working with, in 60 days they've blown up, but they've done exactly what I've told them. Then I have other people who do 50% of what I tell them. Well, you're not going to get the results. You got to surrender and do the work.
Okay, so I hope I'm pronouncing this name right. Igami. How do you go all in on plan A even though bread, butter, bills, etc. need to be covered, especially after a layoff?
Well, that has nothing to do with going all in on plan A. You always have to get your needs taken care of. That's number one. But to me, there is only plan A. There's no plan B, plan C, plan D. I remember when I lost my job, I was $150,000 in debt, foreclosure sticker on my garage, and I had all this pressure on me. But I never wavered. Because what happens is if you conform to your environment, your results, you're going to keep creating the same. I don't want you to do that. I want you to get in the habit of going all in, even when it's tough. I had to do it when it was tough. But right now is a huge opportunity for you, because if it was a little tough, there'd be only a little good in it. Now, when it's really tough, like what I was facing and what it sounds like you're facing, if you don't wilt to the adversity, but raise your attitude, raise your drive, be more determined than ever, you're going to see the outcome in literally a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's going to explode for you. And I tell you that because that's what happened for me.
Okay, great. So Arash, Jasmine is asking, she's saying, my environment is negative, Arash. How do I protect my mindset?
Well, you got to create a new environment, number one. And you got to guard your mind in your current environment. So maybe your current environment is people in your family. So just start asking them questions about them. But whenever they're saying something negative, I want you to train yourself silently. Don't say it out loud. Silently say, subconscious mind, I'm not accepting any of this negativity. But we've got to upgrade your environment. Who created that environment, Jasmine? You did. So you're a part of that environment. But as you raise your awareness, as you raise your emotional state, your environment is going to naturally change. So I wouldn't give up all your power to the environment. I would say, where is my role in this? Because remember, we're the only problem we have and the only solution. And right now, it's so easy to be around like-minded people. There's so many forms. Like I have a group called Legacy Builders. It's such an amazing environment, and it's such a low cost to be in that environment. And so if you go get in Facebook groups that are constantly around people going your direction, you can always upgrade your environment.
Okay, so Elena has a question about power moves. Can power moves be internal, like shifting identity, or do they always have to be external actions?
Actions. When I talk about power moves, always action. See, when you say the internal changes right away when you take the action out of your comfort zone, it's so much easier to behave your way into a new identity. Now, you could have a power move that is a massive decision, like I am done settling. That starts it, but you have to follow through with action. So, a lot of people only want to study. It's not going to work. You get it with the visceral experience, the doing. No one will change their internal standards without doing something. Well, what happens with our standards? Our standards create our story creates our identity creates our results.
Okay, speaking of identity, Alex wants to know, Arash, what role did Bob Proctor play in shaping your identity?
He played a big role in it. When you're around someone you respect, the level of belief. I mean, him and I would talk minimum 3 times a day. So of course, he played a role in it, but I played a bigger role because I had to follow through with the actions. And him and I used to talk about that. So I'm not saying anything that he didn't tell me. He always would tell me, I didn't change your identity, you changed your identity. So I could give you guys all the examples, all the direction, but if you don't do it, your identity is not going to change. But he taught me so much about life. I always say he taught me how to be a man, and he taught me how to toughen up. There's so much that he helped me with my identity to shape it. But he could have told me all this, and if I didn't follow through, none of it would have happened.
Okay, so identity is like what's hitting right now. So Nicole is asking, what do you believe is the best identity-based behavior to work on first?
It's always anything that is out of your comfort zone. Identity is so important to me. I work on it every day. But you're not going to change your identity being in your comfort zone. I will tell you that. You are never going to change it. And the best way to change it right away is change how you dress. Upgrade the way you dress, you're going to change your identity, but that's an action. You're literally doing it. Whatever it is your goal is will tell you the identity that you must grow into. The identities we have to release is overthinking, hesitating, needing to be liked, putting people on a pedestal because they're always going to disappoint you. You've got to get comfortable with who you are, but you got to get into movement. Nothing will change your identity faster than movement. It is so much easier to behave your way into new identity than think your way into new identity. It will take literally 10 times longer with great discipline to think your way into new identity.
Arash, this is from Sophia. She wants to know, how do you know the timing is right to make a move? Timing's
always right. When the opportunity comes, you got to act. Napoleon Hill said that. When an opportunity is burning, that's when you act. It's never going to be on your time. The universe has no delays. You know how many people, Sophia, just this week have lost so many huge opportunities because they were waiting for the perfect time. Never wait for the perfect time.
Okay, Arash, if you could only teach one power move for wealth, what would it be?
Acting on ideas. No question. Acting on ideas.
So, do power moves always require confidence, or does confidence come after the move?
Confidence always comes after the move. You don't gain confidence. Confidence comes from studying yourself and also through action. So you could study yourself but not act, you're not going to have confidence. You gain confidence with the repetition of doing a thing.
Okay, Mary is saying, Arash, can you please explain the difference between self-image and identity?
They're the same. They're just a different word. Self-image is identity. Your identity or self-image is the most honest picture you have of yourself. So Mary, I want you to look yesterday and observe how you behaved, what you did, the type of actions you took. That's the real you. That's the real identity. So we can always know when we're what we do by ourselves, that's the real identity.
Okay, Arash, what is the craziest power move you've ever seen one of your clients make?
I don't look at it as crazy. So my clients are awesome, number one. I love my clients because they're so hungry and so coachable. I have so many, I have thousands of success stories because they follow the process. So I don't have any that comes to mind like crazy because I don't look at it that way. I look at it as what is essential for the goal. So um, I have people who are coming and masterminding me on a flight that I'm taking for our Transform event. Now, I don't call that crazy. Maybe they think it's crazy. I just know they're going to get 10x the return on that. So I have people who I tell them, I want you to prospect every day. They start prospecting when they hated doing it. So I don't look at crazy. I look at what is essential. So success, I'm going to tell you all this. And this is going to be contrary to a lot of your beliefs because of where your current results are for some of you. But success is so easy to create. You just have to do a few things compounded over time that create big results. It's just a few things. A lot of people are making success such a big idea where it's not. It's just a bunch of small ideas, but it comes from commitment. It comes from deciding who am I going to be and who am I not going to be anymore. Then we build our standards off of that. The standards create the story. Then we build identity automatically, and the results are effortless.
Arash, this is from Kevin. How do I rebuild my mindset after I've had a major failure?
Listen, Kevin, failing is not the problem. Your attitude to failing is the problem. So you don't need to rebuild your mindset. You need to understand failing is an absolute essential part of success. I fail every day. I don't need to rebuild my mindset. I use it for fuel. I say, listen, where could I have done better? Was this the right thing that I did? Was it the right thinking? Was it the right action? But I don't think you need to rebuild your mindset because you failed. Like, big deal. You and I are going to fail again. So I wouldn't look at it that way. Like, if you are around 100 successful people, like really truly successful, failure is the biggest illusion. They don't look at it as failure. They look at it, I get to course correct. And remember, if you're not willing to fail, you're not going to win. I look to fail every single day. And it's not like I'm like loving to fail, but I know failing is a part of success. So don't give in to failure and let it shape your identity. That's what you're doing right now. Now, what I'd like to ask you, Kevin, like, what are your processes? What are your frameworks? Who are you getting mentored by? What type of direction are you following? That is going to give you a good understanding of where you're failing.
Okay. Emily wants to know, how can I use affirmations to rewire my mindset, or do I need more? What do you suggest?
Well, the reason affirmation has been a huge part of my life is because I do the thing I affirm the rest of the day. So if I'm affirming that I'm earning $100,000 or more a month, I'm just using an example. I see myself doing that and I take actions from that person. Why affirmations don't work for a lot of people, they'll affirm something, then the rest of the day they go back into their present circumstance. That's why affirmations won't work. Affirmations can work against you too, because they can make you feel bad if you're not working in harmony with it. So what I recommend you do, put an alarm on your phone every 3 hours. And for 2 minutes, I want you to get so juiced up when you're reaffirming your affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $100,000 or more every month and I love it. You do it for 2 minutes straight. Then I want you to visualize for 1 minute seeing the outcome of what you just affirmed. But I don't want you to just see it. I want you to discipline your senses. What would you see as you were earning $100,000 a month? What would you be experiencing? What would you smell? What would you hear people congratulating you? So when you discipline your senses at your goal while you're visualizing, it changes the game. But auto-suggestion is a suggestion from yourself to yourself. That's what an affirmation is. But the key is going and working from that state. Like, I want you to have the same attitude that you do from your current results as you do for what you're affirming. And then affirmations is going to be huge for you. I remember one day I was in New York City with my mentor, Bob Proctor. And he was about to go on and speak at Carnegie Hall. And I was talking to him, I'm like, since you studied Andrew Carnegie's work and Napoleon Hill's work so long, is this a big deal? And he said, no. He said, honestly, it's not. And I said, let me ask you a question. I said, what was the greatest success principle that really had the biggest difference in your life? And he sat back for a second. He goes, auto-suggestion. And I said, that was the same with me. And then he said, do you know why it worked for you and I, Arash? And I said, why? He says, because we don't question it. We know once we affirm it, it's done. And then we go to work on it and we act as that person. And I said, that is so accurate. Like, out of all the success principles since I started, there's so many that I've worked on. But the one that I always go back, anything I affirm, I know it's done. I know I just got to do it over and over, but I got to act like that person. And like I said, a lot of people will affirm and say it doesn't work. So they stop affirming. They haven't done it long enough, but during the rest of their day, they're not thinking, feeling, and acting as that person. So they're denying what they say they're affirming. And that's why it doesn't work.
Okay, so Jesse is asking, do you believe standards are more important than discipline?
No, standards create the discipline. So not more important, they're part of the equation. Standards are who we are. Okay, standards create abundance. But then when you're holding the line to your standard, how do you hold that line? With discipline. The standards create the discipline. So I wouldn't say they're more important, but they're just as important. Discipline is crucial. If you're watching anyone who's winning, do you know anyone who wins that's not disciplined? I've never met a person that wins that's not disciplined. But so I don't think more important. I think discipline is crucial. Discipline is what creates freedom, but you can't create the right disciplines if you don't have the proper standards. So it starts with standards.
Okay, here's another standard question from Rafael. What's the difference between standards and boundaries?
Well, standards are what create boundaries. Standards, you have to draw a line in the sand, and that's what creates the boundary, right? I'm not going under this line. So, but you can't create boundaries unless you choose your standard. Most people have terrible boundaries. Terrible boundaries. They're saying yes to everyone because they need to be liked. So when you decide, I am going to be comfortable with myself, I'm going to be comfortable with my own skin, that's setting a standard that's going to create your boundaries.
Okay, great. Arash, how do you make your mindset so unshakable during these tough times?
I don't look at it as tough times or easy time. I just look at it as doing whatever it takes. So a lot of these questions are really good questions, but I've never looked at it like that. I don't put labels on things. I don't look at tough or easy. I look at what is necessary. You know, what changed my life, and I hope you hear this properly, is I was always willing to do things that nobody else was willing to do, or what very few people were willing to do. Like when I had my back against the wall, a lot of people looked at it as a tough time. I didn't. I had the best attitude during that time. And so, yeah, if you looked at it from results in terms of my bank account, yeah, sure. But I was like, God, this is such a great opportunity. That's why I never went back to the corporate world. I had so many opportunities to go get another six-figure job, and I kept saying no to them. So I don't look at it like when there's tough times. You know, we have to do hard so much better. So the tougher the adversity, the greater the benefit, but the greater the attitude must become. So you have to take a step away and say, how is this here to serve me? Everything is happening for us, not to us. Now, here's the problem that most people fall to, is they're victims. God, I can't believe this is happening to me. I can't believe this has happened to me. I have a great client of mine, Olga. Her house got robbed. She was telling me this yesterday. And she goes, Arash, I don't want to be a victim to this. Now, that is a very smart way, but she's been working with me for a while, so we toughened her up over the last year and a half. And she goes, how would you look at this? And I told her, this is how I would look at it. Obviously, they needed the money more than you did. You know, they needed the possessions more than you did. I said, I'm not happy this happened to you, but it's your response. If you're willing to let this go completely, the universe is going to give it back to you tenfold. And so, you know, it's our attitude towards everything that determines life's attitude towards us. So if you look at what you're putting out, that's what you're getting back. So I want everyone to look at their results. That's what you've been putting out. No more, no less. So if you want something greater, you got to put out greater thoughts. You got to be in a greater environment. You've got to have greater action. You've got to build a greater identity. You've got to build higher standards, because whatever we put out, we're going to get back. That's the law.
Okay, I think the attitude has sparked some questions. Omar is asking, can you explain the link between attitude and leadership?
Attitude is essential to be a great leader. See, when you're a great leader is always calm. They never show frustration. So they can have frustration, but they got to do it behind closed doors where nobody sees, because your team is watching your attitude. They're watching your example more than anything. And your example is a part of your attitude. But attitude is your thoughts, feelings, and actions. They create every result. Like right now, I have an attitude towards this call. So do you all. You know, I'm about to go on a trip, but I was like, why don't I just get on a call, see if I could help anybody? I want to change your life. Every day we could change our life. That's my attitude. You know, my attitude is when I woke up today, this is going to be the best day of my life. That's attitude. But everything is about leadership. Leadership is not a title. It's how we show up every day. We have a great opportunity today to impact so many people's lives. It doesn't matter if it's at the grocery store, but it's your attitude that's going to determine, am I a leader or am I a victim? Now, I will tell you this. There's never been an easier time to win. There's never been an easier time to earn money. Why? Because there's so many victims. Your competitive advantage is being a leader of self.
Okay, so I have Emily and Hannah kind of asking the same question. They're pretty much both of them, but saying it differently. How do you deal with people who drain your attitude?
Nobody can drain your attitude but you. Nobody. So you're giving your power up to them. So you've got to eliminate them from your life. You've got to minimize the contact you have with them. I don't surround myself with people who have a negative attitude. But it cannot affect my attitude unless I give up my power. So what I want you to do is stop giving your power away to both of you.
So on that, Rush, what's like one attitude shift that you think everyone today could make to get immediate results?
Decide who you're going to be. That's an attitude shift. I'm no longer settling. I'm no longer settling for mediocre action. I'm no longer settling for average. You all have just as much potential as I do. And if I can create a life of freedom, so can you. I'm just ordinary. I'm average. Like, I just have created a great set of standards, great identity, great disciplines. And I work at this every single day. Every single day, I'm working on getting better, better, better. And you guys can do it the same.
Okay, so Chris is saying, I am in a high-stress power job. How do I keep my attitude in check without getting overwhelmed?
So when you're in high stress, like you're saying, you're losing the present moment. So all we have right now is this moment. So you've got to upgrade your focus. Focus is an attitude. Focus is going to sharpen your edges, but it sharpens your identity. But if you are why is somebody stressed? It's because they're projecting in something in the future that doesn't exist because they lost the present moment. We got to lock in on the present moment. I want you to change your attitude to, I have a stressful job. I want you to take it as a badge of honor. I'm in this position because I'm worth it. I'm worthy of it. And if you change your attitude towards that, you're going to remove so much stress from your life.
Okay, David is asking, how do I keep a strong mindset when I'm constantly being rejected?
Dude, rejection, that's part of the game. Love rejection. Are you kidding me? Why does that have anything to do with your mindset? You know, just keep going. Keep going over and over again. I promise you make enough shots, you're going to win big. Like, you've got to embrace rejection. I freaking love rejection. Like, change your attitude towards rejection and start understanding it. It's telling you where you could get better. It's telling you where you have to grow. Don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as a gift. Rejection has been the greatest gift in my life. You see the difference in attitude? But this is difference in understanding. Why would it affect your mindset? It's only affecting it because you're not looking at the good in the rejection. You're not looking at it from the proper perspective of where do I have to get better? Have you ever asked the people that you're getting rejected, why did you reject me? Like, where I want to know so I could get better at that. You see the opportunity? But I don't know anybody who's creating significant results who doesn't embrace rejection. Rejection is just like failure, it's part of the game.
Okay, Logan's saying, Arash, I'm in the midst of becoming an entrepreneur. How do I shift my mindset from being an employee to now becoming an entrepreneur?
So stop seeing yourself as an employee, number one, and stop saying that I'm in the midst. I want you to start seeing yourself as an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur has to develop a much different identity than a 9-to-5 worker. Okay, they're very different because an entrepreneur gets paid based on results. They don't get paid any other way. So I want you to start seeing yourself as an entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? They solve problems. So I want you to see yourself as a great problem solver. But stop talking as an employee right now. Even in your job, I want you to act like you were the owner of the company you're working for right now. If you take that type of responsibility, you're going to create yourself into a great entrepreneur.
Okay, Kay is asking, Arash, how do I know if I'm focusing on the right thing or I'm just being busy?
Well, just look at your results. Your results will tell you. It's not about being busy. A lot of people work really hard. They're busy being busy. That doesn't create results. It's about doing your power moves. What are your highest income producing activities? What are those? And that's what I want you to work on. See, you could have two people. One person's working 10 hours a day, one's working 5 hours a day, but the person working 5 hours is working on their power moves. They're going to 10x the results of the person who's busy being busy. You just asking that question tells me you're busy being busy. I already know it, and you know it. Okay, so I want you to look at your goal and say, what are the highest producing activities that are going to create that goal? Work backwards from the goal.
Okay, Mark is saying, Arash, I have all these opportunities in front of me. How do I stop this shiny object syndrome and just stick with one thing?
You got to discipline yourself. You got to get really good, Mark, at saying no. When you're saying yes to a lot of things, you're saying no to the most important things. We got to get masters at saying no. So we also, like the identity-based behavior that you have to work on is focus.
Lucas is asking, Arash, how do I stay focused on my vision when everyone else is doubting me and my family?
You got to be stronger. Everyone doubted me and my family. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was trying to become a priest. You know, one day, my mom and my brother came and had like this, I don't know what it is, come to Jesus moment with me. And they were trying to take me away from what I wanted. I told them, if you want to see me, you're going to support me. I don't care if you believe in it. The only person that needs to believe in your vision is you. The only person that needs to believe in your goal is you. So stop giving your power away. You're needing to be liked. You're needing to be approved. You don't need that. You're running your race. You got to be stronger.
Okay, Vanny is saying, Arash, I sometimes have issues focusing. What can I do in the morning to help lock in that focus?
So a great exercise to improve focus is do breath work. Breathe in for 3 or 4 seconds and just follow your breath. And start with 5 minutes a day. And when your mind goes into monkey mind, gets chaotic, just go back and say, that's interesting, I'm going to follow my breath. If you start doing this 5 minutes a day for the first week, then the second week do 7 minutes. Then build it up to 10, 15 minutes. Your focus is going to improve. But you guys got to understand this. You can't create success without focus. Most people, there's a great book, I always quote them, from Jim Collins, From Good to Great. The research says the average individual spends 13 weeks a year being distracted. So they're giving away a full quarter. How can you create great results like that? Focus is essential to create great success, but focus is developed by one of our higher faculties, the will. The will is holding one idea on the screen of our mind without any distraction. But when you hold that idea, you're embedding it inside of you on a subconscious level, and the repetition of holding that image, you're going to see the fruit of what you want.
Okay, Bruce is asking, hey Bruce, how can I be coachable?
Do what I tell you, Bruce. It's not hard. Just follow the direction. It's so funny. I was telling you guys a story earlier about that client and that I was working with this week. I have so many coachable clients. I love bragging about my clients because I'm so proud of what they're doing. But you're not going to get results if you're not coachable. You can't start and stop and expect results, but stop letting your ego get in the way, Bruce. And I have a question for you. Do you want to be right or do you want to be successful? So if you want to be right, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to be successful, surrender and do exactly what I tell you.
Okay, D is asking, what's the biggest mindset shift I need to build real wealth?
I don't know where you're at, D. I need more information, my friend. For everybody, it's different from where they are. And so if you give me a little more information, then I can help you more.
Okay, well, we'll see if they put more in the chat. Ali, sorry if I'm saying your name correctly, just wants to say, hi, Arash. Every time I listen to you, it gets my spirits up, especially when I'm doubting myself or losing my faith in my dream. Thank you so much for your time and dedication.
Well, Ali, I'm going to tell you this. This is what I want you to do. I want you to destroy doubt. I want that to be your mission. I am no longer doubting myself. Every time a doubt comes, I'm going to doubt the doubts. Now, I want you to come from my mindset, not yours. I don't give in to doubt. I have doubt just like all of you. I just don't give into it. I just reject it. But I want you to know, Ali, wherever you are right now and what you want, it is yours. Now, I want you to own that. I want you to own it like you've never owned anything else. And when you do that, you're accepting the idea on such a deep subconscious level.
Okay, Logan's asking, how do you keep wealth from changing who you are?
Well, that's more about your character. So your wealth cannot change who you are. It makes you more of what you already are. So wealth just magnifies it. So wealth has never changed me. And I'm very proud of that, but I never thought it was going to change me because I've always been who I am. Like if you came and knew me 20 years ago, I'm the same person. I'm just more developed, but my character is always about truth. It's always about loyalty. It's always about service. I've always been like that. So if you're not a good person and you let the ego, you start creating great wealth and you let the ego think you're better than other people, well, that is a character flaw that you got to develop.
Okay, Monique says, Arash, I've been watching you all over this week at different places. What is your biggest power move this week?
Well, I've had several. I'm implementing a ton of new ideas. So number one, you're going to start seeing that. Number two, I was in a mastermind event that was absolutely amazing. I'm just like you. I constantly invest in myself. Just this year, since March, I've invested $500,000 in my own development. Why do I keep investing? Because I get it back tenfold. So I've had a lot of big ideas, but you're going to start seeing them come to fruition. So keep watching me because there's a lot of kick-ass stuff that's on its way.
All right. So Arash, how do you stay disciplined with wealth when lifestyle temptations come up?
You got to get comfortable with who you are. If you're chasing shiny objects, you're going to lose it. So I have a rule for myself that I have to really want something. If I don't really want it, I don't get it. So it's all dependent on your personal philosophy. I don't need a lot of things. I live a very simple life. I take great vacations. That's a value for me, so I spend money there. I spend a lot of money on learning other people's models that I respect. So it all depends. So you have to discipline or else you could be earning a lot of money and have nothing to keep.
Okay, Zane is asking, Arash, how do you set goals without stressing yourself out?
Well, you got to understand how the mind works. You got to understand the laws of the universe. Why would you be stressed because you set a goal? That's because you're coming from lack. So when I set a goal, it's done. It is done. I don't think any other way. But if you're setting it and you're stressed, it's because you're separate from the goal and you've never committed to achieving the goal. Your quote-unquote goal is not a goal, it's a wish or a hope. So the moment you set a goal, I want you Zane, to think it is absolutely done. Now you work on getting better. See, our greatest responsibility is how we think. So your thinking is off right now. You're not thinking from the goal, you're thinking from your current results. So you're actually pushing the goal further away because you're coming from scarcity.
Okay, MG is asking, hi, hope everything's fine. I want to know how to become a millionaire first mentally.
Well, I would like you to be a millionaire first, right in this moment. Like you decide, I'm going to be a millionaire. Like I didn't just become a millionaire. I had to decide that I was going to earn $1 million. So no one becomes a millionaire unless they decide. But I don't want it just to be mentally. I want you getting to work. I want you to start creating the identity, the standards, the habits of a millionaire. Because you can do it mentally and not do anything and you're not going to do it. But the first step is decide, I'm going to earn $1 million or more a year. And then you've got to build the right framework for yourself in order to do that.
Okay, Violet is saying hi. She's sending a lot of heart emojis. So
Hi, Violet.
Give her a shout out. Okay, SRQ Trader is asking, how do you identify money blocks and what are processes to eliminate them?
Yeah, so you got to start looking at your relationship with money. Like, when you spend money, do you have resistance? If you do, you have a lot of money blocks. So you got to start identifying what your money wounds are, and we have to start healing them. So you want to bring those money wounds up to the surface and start working on them. We got to remove scarcity from our heart. If we don't remove scarcity from our heart, it's always going to create subconscious blocks. So a lot of people want more money, yet they're not willing to invest in themselves. You see how out of harmony that is? They want more money, but they want to stay in their comfort zone. Never going to happen. They want more money, but they're trying to get instead of giving. So you want to start identifying what those are. You got to open the space for money if money's going to come into your life.
Okay, Marion is asking, how do I stop trading time for money?
You got to create better frameworks. You got to create better processes. You got to eliminate the low-hanging fruit and only work on the big ideas.
Okay. How do you raise your wealth identity to match millionaire status? It's from Stella.
I mean, that is not a question. It's a long answer. So if we looked at where you are and where you want to go, okay, there's a gap there. That's called an identity gap. So that's our opportunity. So I'd have to know where you are and where you want to go. So if you're at 20,000, want to earn $1 million, there's a bigger answer to this than somebody who's at 500 wants to earn $1 million, somebody 100 that wants to earn $1 million. So the best thing I could tell you is take an honest look of what your gap is from where you are to where you want to go. So let's say you're earning 100,000 and you want to earn $1 million. So your gap then is the 900,000. So I don't need to teach you how to earn $1 million. I need to teach you how to increase your identity by 900,000. So I will tell you the identity-based behaviors that are crucial. Number one, you've got to have a great mentor. You've got to get direction. If you don't get direction, it's going to take you forever to do this. Number two, start writing out ideas every day, every day, every day. Keep writing ideas until one hits. Number three, start acting on ideas within a millisecond. Even if it doesn't work, don't worry. It's going to start getting crisper in your mind of where you need to course correct. Number four, always behave your way into new identity. Number five, get in proximity. Come to my seminars. Get in my energy and you're going to have a blueprint. So these are some of the things that you have to start implementing right away.
Okay, and they is saying, I'm from India and there is a lot of poverty. How do I break that cycle and start thinking wealthy?
Well, number one, I have a lot of clients from India who are crushing it now. Okay, so don't let that get in your mind. There's poverty everywhere. So I don't want you to put your energy there. What I want you to put your energy on is what you want. The laws work the same in India than they do anywhere. I remember years ago, I had a client in India who asked me this. And I remember telling her, I was like, let me ask you a question. Do you think the laws of the universe stop working in India? And she started laughing. This lady, within a year, exploded. And I will tell you this, don't put your energy on poverty, because wherever we put our conscious attention, all our mind, every cell of our being goes to that direction. So I want you, if you don't want to be in poverty, I want you to start working on you. See, to create wealth is all about chasing our own greatness. So we got to upgrade how you think. So don't even put any attention on the poverty in India. There's poverty where I live too, but I want you to put all your energy on how you want to live. And you watch what is going to change.
Okay, Annie's asking, I'm a coach, and how, Arash, do you balance challenging a client without discouraging them?
Well, you got to do it with a loving energy. Like as a coach, you have to be a problem finder for your client. So you got to identify what their blocks are. So the only way you're going to discourage them is if you're not honest with them. You have to be honest. That's what they're paying you for. So what you have to understand, your job is to take them from where they are to where they want to go. That's your job. And if you're holding back, then you're not going to be an excellent coach. And they're going to go find somebody else that is much more willing to really get them their results. See, coaching is about getting people to really walk into their potential. See, everybody has potential, but not everybody walks into their potential. But you have to do it with a loving energy. You don't want to beat them up. Like I never beat up anybody. I'm always honest, but I tell them why why I see what I see. But you have to, that's your job, is to help them. So if you're discouraging them, it's in your communication, not exactly what you say, but how you're saying it.
Okay, Valeria wants to ask about coaching. She's saying, if I don't really fully believe in myself yet, will coaching really work?
Yes, I didn't believe in myself until I got the right mentor. That's how you believe. Like my mentor installed his belief in me within a second. That's my superpower with my clients. If you go look at my success stories and read what they say, like I change them right away. Like if I got any of you for 24 hours, your belief would be so different. They'd be so different. So reach out to me and I will help you. Send a note to hello@vosscoachingco.com. You watch. If I just spend a little time with you, I will change your belief like this.
Okay, Arash, what made you want to become a coach in the first place?
Because I love helping people. When my life changed, I wanted to give it to everybody. Like my mission is changing people's lives. Like I told you before, I want to change your life, but I dedicated to my craft. I've been doing this, studying every single day for over 20 years now. It's my mission. It's my purpose. I'm going to do this till the day I die. And I hope that's in a long time. But that is why I was put on this planet.
Okay, Ethan's asking about the accountability in coaching. What kind of accountability do you give as a coach?
It depends. I mean, for everybody, it's different. Okay. So what I want my clients to do, I have people who text me. I have other people who email me. I have so many different forms of accountability. Like I just created a new program called All In. I'm working people twice a week. I've never done this twice a week, but I want everyone to crush it by the end of the year. And I'm working with them Monday and Friday, and I'm going to have accountability built in every single day in this program. I have a client, Michael, who texts me every day because that works for him. So accountability is essential because accountability is a success insurance policy. Nobody can scale their life, scale their business without accountability.
Rachel's asking Arash, what is the connection between gratitude and attitude?
Gratitude is one of the highest forms of attitude. The highest forms of attitude is faith and gratitude. So let's take one more because I have to get ready for my trip.
Okay, last one. Let me just double check. It's another attitude question. What's one small shift in attitude that could create a big impact for me?
Look for the good in everything. I just want you to look for the good. Do a 30-day test. For the next 30 days, I'm only looking for the good in everything. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay. When is your next event?
Well, my event is in September, World Class Wealth, but I have another event in November that I highly recommend all you get to before it sells out. It's very inexpensive. But you're going to leave there with an absolute blueprint of exactly what to do and how to do it to massively create a massive quantum leap. But I want you to start making decisions from the right place. What would your future self do? You know, a lot of people are costing themselves because they're not thinking accurately. So it's not whether you can afford to be in that room, it's can you afford not to. And all you have to do is look at your history. I want you to look at the last 6 months. Is this how you want to live? Get in my energy. I can assure you, you're going to leave there a completely different person. But you better act on it because it's going to sell out fast. And I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss it, or else, guess what? In January, you're going to be like, oh gosh, I'm at the same place. Don't do that to yourself. Change your life today by making bold decisions that your future self would make. Now, most people are saying yes to what they're saying should be saying no to, and saying no to what they should be saying yes to.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, remember this last thing. Bet on yourself because there's not a better investment in the world than you. You have infinite potential. You're just missing direction. Once you get the right direction, your whole life is going to change.